Hello everyone and welcome back to the final of the YOS 3v3. Here we are with our top two teams. This is the Disciples and alongside them the 2 meter rule.
What a name.
Yeah, what a name. So here's Aaron helping me with the commentary for this final round. How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm very tired.
We had a
Other
pretty
than
exhausting day yesterday, but
yeah,
here we
had
are.
a really busy day yesterday.
Today's been a lot smoother.
I mean, there's only about
There's only 14.
so, yeah, we can't go that wrong. Hopefully.
Once again, we have Gabe on the feature. This is because we wanted to try and bring you guys some interesting decks for the final round. Interesting thing to note, as you've probably already seen, all of the Disciples team is playing a Rokket variant for this event. Who do you think is the most skilled with it?
Probably Gabe. Just from what I've seen, but then again, I don't really know much of the Disciples apart from Gabe. That probably biases my view on that, I'm afraid.
Well, we got some interesting news coming out from them. I believe tomorrow they're making an announcement of some interesting stuff going on. So be sure to check out their Facebook page and their various social media channels to stay in touch with that information.
I wonder what that could be.
It looks like Andrew, who's our player at the top, he's not super familiar with all of these cards, so he's just having a bit of a read through to make sure that he gets the right effect off at the right time, which is fair enough. I don't think our event had a massive Rokket uptake.
4, I believe, off the top of my head.
Yeah, something like that. 4 out of 54, so...
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a percentage.
Yeah.
I think about 4 variants of Rokket. I think maybe 2 of those were the FTK with Akapapisku. So I don't think it's that major.
Yeah. Not at least not for this event. What was the big deck for this event? It was Adamantipator, was it? I believe so.
Adamantipator take up. I think it was 14 of the total lists.
Yeah, which is pretty hefty.
Yeah, it's huge. It's just under a third, something like that. If my maths is right.
Yeah.
A bit less, a bit more. Yeah. It was yeah, but that's sort of what we've seen from all of the other YOSes as well. We saw Eldlich had a bigger representation in the first 2. But obviously, I don't know what's happened to the Adamantipator players this game, this tournament, but not the Adamantipator, the Eldlich players. I don't know where they've gone.
People have realised that the deck is either too good or not good enough for this kind of event.
Can a deck be too good for an event?
Yeah, of course it can. If a deck is too good, you don't want to play it because then nobody supports you.
I mean,
So it looks like they're having a bit of a discussion here because Andrew wants to activate Phantasme as Chainlink 1 and Imperm as Chainlink 2. But I don't think they've communicated that properly, so what's going to happen is Chainlink 1 is going to be Andrew's Phantasme, followed by Chainlink 2, out on the Phantasme, and then Chainlink 3, the Imperm, will resolve, and that will be the lot from there.
Looks correct. But he's ashing the Phantasme.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, so that's going to have to slot in as Chainlink 2 here, which still makes sense and is a perfectly valid chain, so they should be able to proceed with play from there. So I think it's interesting how Gabe, Tristan, and Connor have adapted this Rokket deck for a particular format. Because I mean, when it was super unknown, they were just like, let's abuse the fact that we can FTK with this deck, and let's just do that and make it as consistent as possible. And if you've already seen it, or if you haven't already seen it, you should go and check out the Disciples channel and their video on the maths behind the FTK deck that was assembled, which I believe was a 60 card list.
Yes, I believe top of my head, yeah.
Whereas right now we can see Gabe is actually running a 50 card list. So it's not designed based on those previously determined optimal FTK ratios. Because the deck is trying to perform a different function, it means you can play a smaller main deck count and then include some hand traps.
Yeah. So what do you think of cards like Chaos Space from Toon Chaos? Because personally, I think these are silly.
I mean, I think Chaos deserved to have something busted. I think it's just a bit awkward that it's come into a format where it also helps an existing very strong deck already. Like, Rokket proved how good it was in a lot of the big American events. And then all of a sudden it gets Chaos Space as well. That seems like a bit much to me.
Like I said, we're in a bit of the awkward sort of format, as we've discussed before, that we sort of don't have a list or, you know, any sort of official tournaments to balance out potential overpoweredness in the game, which is a bit awkward. But you know, it does lead to some interesting decks.
Well, people are always going to get creative at some point.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that the Rokket deck didn't really dominate the format. Like, we've essentially had the same format for several months, right? Like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, it's Adamantipator, and then Eldlich variants, but it's usually Eldlich Synchro just because of how broken Halky
Fibrex is,
yeah. But with dabbing, that's sort of accepted just because at this point you don't really need it sounds really silly, but the Eldlich is just a secondary engine to the turbo Halky Fibrex, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Something to give you some decent recursion that doesn't rely on your normal summon and doesn't use more link monsters, so you don't have to worry about the restriction of the Auroradon.
Yeah, exactly, which is... It's a bit weird, though, because you're looking at... It's weird, because the way I see it, Adamantipator sort of need the Halky Fibrex combos to end on a board, where Eldlich don't, which I thought that would give them the advantage. Obviously, to be contended as the best deck, but I guess I was wrong on that one.
Okay, so Gabe brings out the Tracer here. I mean, he's already essentially had to stare down 3 potential hand traps. I don't believe we know what was shuffled away with the Levy in here, so the Fant could still be in the hand. And Andrew could literally be on 1 card here to try and break whatever board Gabe is assembling, and it looks like he's going to be in a pretty strong position.
Yeah, I mean, we have to think about the Phantasma may have been shuffled, but we probably would have seen another hand trap by now. But then again, it doesn't really matter just because of the fact that the Appaloosa is there. Like, he's playing he's got potentially have 3 cards, and he's playing through 3 negates. Like, you know.
But you can generally force at least one of those negates, right?
True, but if you only got 3 cards to force 3 negates, then you know you're down 3 cards with no board.
Depends how good those cards are. We'll just have to see what Andrew can pull out of his deck.
Dark Ruler, Lightning Storm, Alistair the Invoker.
You've seen Andrew's got a 42 card list here.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
That's
I wonder if the maths behind that is on the same par as the Disciples maths for the 60 card previous list and the 50 card list this time around.
I, for some reason, doubt that.
You never know.
I saw the Disciples math video and just thought these guys take this far too seriously, in the nicest way possible.
You know, I actually made a similar thing a while back to check consistency of a deck, where you'd feed it a deck list and a list of combos that leads to your optimal end board kind of thing.
There are tools out there to do that, though, so nobody needs to really make them.
Yeah, it just depends on how complicated your combos are and whether the requirements are difficult to achieve. Most of the time you can just use a geometric calculator, hypergeometric calculator.
We have specifically built them. There are tools like that on the YuGiOh organization. We do have those for people to view, so you can go and view those. Shout out to the YuGiOh organization.
We'll have to find a link.
You don't need a link for the YuGiOh organization. Just Google. If you see any news story, the YuGiOh organization has probably posted it. So there you go. There are tools on there.
What do you think Gabe is going to end on here?
So we could probably see he's going to end on obviously the Appaloosa. He can easily go into a Boral or Savage Dragon at this point. And then we've also got the Herald. So it's, like I said, it's 3 negates for 3 cards.
If you're Andrew, do you not just scoop at this point?
So I'm looking at Andrew's list. Maybe. Because there are sort of these 1-card combos, because obviously we featured Andrew before. I'm sure we have at this point. So there are some of these 1-card blowouts. However, again, he's playing through the potential. Does he draw one of these 3-card blowouts? Because if I like we discussed before, obviously we're not in any sort of massively time restricting rules. Yeah. So the issue with it is does he give away? Does he try and stall down the time to potentially be able to use one of his other cards to? Oh, I mean, I've just seen a destruction sword as well. Like, why? Yeah, scoop, Andrew. Scoop.
Well, let's see what he does.
No.
He might look at the top card. He's just having a quick think there. I mean, he does have his team available on hand to chat with him and figure out if he has a way to out this board, because it's 1 generic negate and then some monsters, one of which has at least 1 negate. Like,
yeah, but so the Andrew is actually playing.
Oh no! Don't say because I.
No. Andrew is playing. He's main decking Dark Rulers. I can say that.
Okay. Well, because we've seen them already.
So he's seen a Dark. He could potentially see a Dark Ruler no more, and then obviously Andrew.
No, he hasn't got it.
Okay, so he didn't see a Dark Ruler no more. So what we're looking at is, Andrew was sort of hoping to see one of those Dark Ruler no mores, didn't, and then scooped, which is fair enough in that sort of state.
So we know the list already. I'm not sure if the stream knows yet, but based on it, do you think he would go first or second?
So based on the list, it is potential. The deck is standard to go second. The deck does standardly go second just because it is a quote OTK deck. However, I have had experience playing this deck, not necessarily with some of the stuff Andrew is playing, but it can easily go first, very easily. There are certain cards in his side deck which allows him to go first easier, and obviously some of his extra deck monsters do allow him to put up some sort of negate in the turn 1.
I just don't. So, interesting point. Andrew was actually in the final game that was going on for the 5th round of Swiss, which lasted, which was significantly longer lasting than the rest of them, and it was very back and forth of very few cards.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe, even if he goes second, he does have the option to just somehow blow out through whatever Gabe produces, to be honest. But it is very difficult to deal with generic negate plus Buster Lock.
I think every deck struggles to generic negate plus Buster Lock.
Yeah.
I don't really know that many decks that can out generic negate plus Buster Lock, because Dark Ruler no more doesn't stop the Buster Lock, which is obviously the blanket negate for a lot of things in this format. Just doesn't stop it. So you need Buster Lock plus some sort of back row removal or some sort of spot removal, which is relatively hard when you can't special summon, so you have to open one of these back removal sort of objects.
Yeah.
So Andrew is going first, which we see followed in the chat with a "What's up?"
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, hey. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's big.
Yikes. Yikes.
Wow.
That is.
So these players do at this point, they have interacted with each other. They do know what each other is playing, and so even without revealing any of his actual engine, Gabe is pretty aware of what Andrew has.
I'm looking at Andrew's list, and there just isn't a way to stop that. Which I'm quite surprised about, because I thought he would have mained Gammas, but unfortunately he doesn't.
And even Called by the Grave here would be something, but he just has to set pass.
He doesn't play Called by the Grave either in his list.
This could be a very quick win for Gabe on this side.
Oh,
hey! Oh no! Oh wow!
So these were sort of the cards I was talking about that allows Andrew to go first. One of them I was talking about would have been Artifact Sanctum, and then obviously backed up by one of his extra deck negate cards, that would have been a quote near enough game.
But
having the Lancia Ash, was sort of these are the cards I need to win this game, and open the cards quote I need to win this game.
Do you think it's pretty insane that Gabe just happens to draw one of his 3 of Ashes?
Not really.
But it's a 50 card deck.
I mean, we have to understand he's opened Lancia and Ash.
Yeah.
So that must I don't know what the percentage is there. Probably,
and Safer, which is 1 card combo.
Is that under 25% for just the hand traps?
It's small. Let me grab.
What, for opening 2 of the different hand traps in a 50 card deck?
Yeah.
Really?
Let me grab the thing. I'll grab the stats. I mean, he did have 6 cards, I guess. So you have a 9%. Oh, wait, hold on, that's wrong. You have a 9% chance of opening 1 3 of alongside 1 other 3 of with a 6 card hand and a 50 card deck.
My math isn't good.
So yeah. I mean, you'll do it 1 in 10 games, sure. It just happens that game is the final, and here's the Mourner for the Striker Dragon.
Pretty good 1 in 10 game.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Ghost Mourner? I think Ghost Mourner at the start was very underrated. Obviously now we see the prices sort of shot up. So what do you think about the cards? I thought it was very underrated.
So I think it's reached the point at which it's starting to hit overrated territory again, which is a bit annoying because it means it's hard to pick them up now.
Yeah, they are something like €25, €26, something like that.
Yeah, so it's gone from being potentially a budget hand trap to just not being. And I mean, even if you read the card, it's still basically budget Veiler. So you kind of hope that's reflected in the price.
Yeah, they were something like, I think about £12 on release. So about, we're looking at like €10, well, not €10, about €12, €13. So they are looking at that, but obviously they've doubled since then.
Yeah.
But you are right. It is a budget failure in a sense. I mean, it doesn't need to be chained to anything. I don't think.
Yeah.
It needs to directly be chained to it. So. I mean, well done. He's taking 1,200 damage potentially. Sorry, 1,000 damage because it was used on the Striker Dragon. But to me, that doesn't justify it. But... And the fact you need a clause if you put special as a monster, you can do this.
Yeah, that's the really problematic part of the card.
Maybe I'm just silly, but I don't understand why people aren't playing Veiler.
They are, aren't they?
But instead of people are playing Mourner instead of Veiler. Why am I missing something?
I don't know. It's a level 3. It's
Whoa.
wind. It's zombie. I don't think any of these things saves you.
I don't know. I might just be silly.
1800 defense. It means that when your opponent normal summons DD Crow, they can't attack over it.
Oh, wonderful.
Genius.
Relevant.
But it's even worse because, like, technically Vela means that you can play Celine, and you can do the one card into a Link 4 type combo without having to use like a proper main deck engine.
Yeah, you can, it's the access code talk combo, isn't it? Because we saw that in Striker.
Yeah, exactly.
In the last YOS, yeah.
Whereas with a zombie, you can't do that, so I'm not
you're
too
right, you're
sure.
alright, yeah. I don't know. Maybe we're just silly. Maybe we're just not on the level of these guys. Maybe we're just missing the picture.
If you've got an explanation for why you should play Morna instead of Vela, please do let us know in the stream chat.
I mean, I'm past my prime these days, so like, I don't know anymore. I stopped caring. Like, so we're just going through the standard Dragon Link combo, which, to be fair, isn't that exciting to watch. But he's just gonna.
But it's got so many effects activating.
Woohoo! I mean, he is just gonna OT game, isn't he?
I don't know. There could be like a really sick hand trap in those remaining 3 cards.
But it can be negated by Herald.
There could be 2 really sick hand traps. Oh, Morna can be used outside of the main phase and on your own turn, says Andres.
Oh yeah.
Which is fair enough, it's just it's very difficult to use it during your turn.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. However, aren't most of their effects going to be activated during the main phase anyway? Like your opponent's main phase anyway?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, this is game.
I think we're trying to defend a card that just doesn't need help. It's fine.
Yeah, Vela's fine by itself, so don't need us.
Right, how much damage has Gabe got on board right now?
So we have 1,900 in the 2 links. We've got 2,800. That makes it 47 plus the 18. 65 plus 600 would be 671.
Okay, so Disciples taking victory here. Unfortunately, we didn't see Andrew's deck in action, which was a bit of a shame. It was an interesting Mech Knight Invoked list. What we're going to do is we'll quickly drop off like a minute or 2 while we see if the other matches are ongoing. And then we'll try and come back with those guys in just a moment.
Sounds good.
Okay, we're going to hop right back into it and do a live update of the HUD to keep you guys informed. So, it's not actually Andrew and Gabe anymore. Nope. Now it is a match between Patrick on the top and Tristan on the bottom. Tristan Pugh, who has taken on fame for his Rokket strategies. Do you think Patrick can get famous for his Adamancipator strategies?
I think we're too developed into the Adamancipator sort of to see anything like that.
So I'm just gonna...
I think we're far too into that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just gonna quickly update the visuals for you guys. That is the thing about the 3v3, it's not decided by that single match, so we've still potentially got some stuff going down that could have a big impact on the result here.
Yeah, it's decided by basically 3 players play out a best 2 out of 3, and the overall match winners will progress in the team. So even if you win your game, your other teammates could lose their games, and making sure you wouldn't pass on to the top guy, which is quite depressing. But also, you have to trust the people you're
you gotta have a good teammate, good teammates to rely upon here. So we can see Tristan's brought out the Magna Rocket Dragon, which I assume will be destroyed, and then we'll later on be able to special summon another rocket, which is fine.
So, but we can see the Union characters have the Buster Sword equipped with us, so that's kind of depressing.
Yeah. He still has the Pancratops.
True. But can that not be negated by the Boral Savage unless it doesn't count as I'm unsure?
Yeah, it can here. So I think it's just going to be a resource game. Who can get to their resources faster and start dealing the appropriate amount of damage, etc. There's been a Dark Rule and No More played.
Oh, that's interesting, okay.
So maybe the Savage is not problematic anymore.
No, so that means the Savage would lose its counters going on to the next turn. So I've just been messaged why Ghost Mortar is good. And it's because if you play it as well as Veiler and Imperm, it means you have 9 Veilers.
True.
That's pretty good.
9 Veilers is good. So, just seeing some messages in the chat. We're not actually aware which game this is because we haven't got that information in the DB chat that we can see. And there's nothing in the Watchers chat on this. We just finished watching Gabe versus Andrew, which Gabe won. And now we're on to the second match that we're following, in which it is Patrick versus Tristan. And we can imagine that Patrick won game 1, given that we know that they've gone into a position where there are potentially sided cards with a Dark Rule No More, and it looks pretty much like Tristan went first for that one, so we believe we're in game 2 here.
We think. It does look so, because I definitely know that Tristan isn't maining Dark Rule No More, so...
Oh no, sorry, the Dark Rule No More was on the other side for Patrick.
Oh, was it? Oh yes, apologies, yeah. Well, I definitely know both.
So,
no more, I think.
Yeah. So a minute ago I was saying it was interesting that Gabe's deck was 50 cards. Is Tristan's list the same?
I'll check that really quickly.
Because I just looked at the graveyard.
Yeah, there are very few variations.
Okay, I just looked at the graveyard and was like, that's 22 cards in there, that's quite a lot.
There are very few variations. There are 6 different cards.
Okay.
That are really cool.
Do you think they'll give him an edge here? I mean, unfortunately it didn't work out for him in game 1.
I mean, to me, it looks like they're all doing the same sort of thing in the nicest way possible. So it looks like it's just different variations to get to that end sort of standard combo.
For sure.
So let me just look up. Yeah, so we're definitely in post game because both players are maining a Dark Rule. So.
I feel like Patrick is really going to struggle through 3 Material Appaloosa plus Boral, but the thing is, the Appaloosa is weaker than the Pancratops.
Yeah,
oh, but he's banishing 3, he has the Levy in it. Okay, that can out the Pancratops then.
Well, isn't the Boral Savage bigger than the Pancratops anyway?
Yeah, well, I was just I was thinking about it being later in the turn, but that is fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
He can just.
He can't just proceed.
He can just attack.
Like, yeah, exactly. He can't exactly.
So down comes the Guard Dragon, World Legacy Guard Dragon. Ooh, okay, this is a big link summon. Is he playing Access Code Talker? Oh no, Boral Sword, sorry. All the Borals. Wow. Yeah, this just like has to be game.
That's game. So
Why isn't Patrick scooping?
I don't know. Maybe this is game 3. He doesn't want to scoop. Maybe. Pancratops effect negate by Appaloosa.
Yeah. Surely that's the play, right? So chaining 1 sword, chaining 2 pank, chaining 3 Apollo to negate.
Yeah,
and then we'll go into game 3.
Yeah.
So, from my understanding, the other match in this trio is currently going into game 3, so we don't know whether this one will be deciding the match yet or not. There's still time for us to find out.
It's tense. I like that. I was speaking to some of the participants yesterday, and they were saying that obviously these games were tense because obviously the sort of prize they're playing for, but that sort of tenseness made it a lot more fun. They obviously have to rely on other people. So I think some friendships may be tested in this one.
Yeah.
But I think giving them that sort of like something to play for, to work towards, is really cool.
Yeah. So in case you didn't already know, we do have a £1,000 prize pool available here. With first place getting £450 plus 3 exclusive playmats. We're just waiting for the finalized art to come in on those, and then we'll share those around and you guys can see how awesome they are.
Very cool.
Here we go with Patrick pulling off his typical Adamancipator starter, having double Adamancipator names, but he doesn't get anything off this researcher, which is really rough for him.
Ouch. What do you think the percentage of not hitting something is off researcher, or hitting something off the first sort of excavate?
Oh, I don't know how many rocks he plays.
A lot.
But you just treat it as like a 5-card hand in a 35-card deck, right?
Would you? Would it be a 35-card deck? No.
Yeah, that's what I said. 5-card hand, 35-card deck, and you just put however many rocks he plays. I think it's normally it's normally enough that you have higher than 90% chance of hitting, or higher than 80% chance of hitting. But
yeah, something like that. It seems about that sort of rate.
And here we go with Fibrax. And there's no disrupt from Tristan here, so it doesn't look great for him. He hasn't got an imperm. Like, I imagine he would have impermed the Fibrax here. He does have to deal with Guardian though.
He may have Nibiru.
Yeah, but even if he does, it's just turned off from now. It's a bit unfortunate for Tristan there that the Guardian was hit, but very good for Patrick. Who's actually in a great position, right? You know, you've won game 1, lost game 2, but you're going first with your deck of choice. You've managed to side deck as you want, and your opponent's not throwing any hand traps at you. Patrick's got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, that's really, you're in a really good position. But then again, I've watched games today where, people have top deck imperm for turn, so a bit of a yikes. But it looks pretty solid. He may have the Nibiru, but obviously that can be negated by the Kokimera Guardian.
Yeah. Oh, just an update. The typically based on the number of rocks in your deck, you'll probably get 75 to 83%. You normally play 8 or 9, 8, 9 or 10 rocks.
That's okay. Yeah.
So thanks, Hash, for that one.
So he's got double negate now.
Yeah.
No offense to Tristan, but this doesn't look promising.
You say that, but
he may have a Dark Ruler.
Yeah, but even without a Dark Ruler, all you have to really do is trade 1-for-1 with your opponent's board until you start seeing a Dragon Link starter card, and then you're fine, right? Because you have so many special summons that interact with your opponent, or so many special summons that allow you to get advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes into the Cerberus, and here's gonna be a Block Dragon. I mean, drawing Block Dragon, I think there was a time when it was problematic. Now it just seems like super safe because it just means you're in a great spot against various hand traps. Oh, he's getting rid of the Guardian, presumably for an Apollo? Yeah, there we go.
I mean, what do you think Tristan can do to out this?
So I mean, outing the Herald is fine. You could just attack over it with a slightly stronger monster. Unless there's like an IP setup or something. Outing the Apollo, I don't think it's too difficult because you can probably bait 1 or 2 negates and then commit a decent summon. So it depends on what follows from here. Because if it's like, I assume it's going to be IP block. Oh, okay, he might go for a Borreload Savage. And he's still got 4 cards in hand, so he still potentially could do IP block, I think.
Yes, potential. Yeah, he can. He definitely can.
He's got Doki now, so...
Yeah, he definitely can.
That's not bad. What's the difference between first and second place prize pool? I think it's £180 plus the 3 playmats is the difference, which is what these guys are playing for currently.
Yes, because it goes to 270 to 450 plus mats, I believe.
Yeah, so pretty significant difference between what they get here. So,
I mean, to be fair, getting second is a good sort of way to spend your weekend. So.
Yeah, playing card games to win 270 quid is not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's just a longer version of poker, isn't it?
Longer, much more convoluted, and you can't read your opponent's face because we're playing online.
Yeah, bit weird. It's interesting. I mean, when I was staring down 3 negates plus the Union Carrier on the Borreload Savage.
Is he playing the Buster?
Yeah, he must be.
Wow, yeah, okay, it's so rough for Tristan here.
He must be. If he's not playing Buster,
I don't see why you'd play the Union Carrier on your Savage Dragon here.
I mean, what can it equip though?
Yeah, exactly.
Dragon,
Oh, he's got it in hand.
Yeah. But I was going to say the only thing they do equip otherwise from the Union Carrier is actually Block Dragon, because obviously they can't equip Block Dragon.
Mm.
And then it does trigger Block Dragon's effect.
But he'd need an appropriate target for that, right? And I don't think he had a rock.
No, he doesn't.
But he doesn't need it anyway because he's already got one and he's got the Buster, and Tristan has 6 cards to try and break this board.
Okay, so we're looking down a negate off the Borreload Savage, which is generic negate. We're looking for a generic negate off the Herald, a monster negate off the Appaloosa anti-card special summon from his extra deck.
Tell you what's good here. Dark Rule no more and then evenly. But I don't think that's going to be something that these guys play.
I
don't think anyone's playing evenly right now.
That surprises me, to be fair. I do like evenly as a card.
So he leads with the Phalanx, which is not big enough to break anything on Patrick's board at the moment.
So I'm looking at Tristan's list.
Tell you what though, because Gabe has finished his match, essentially Tristan and Gabe can team up. And it's the same on Patrick's side. He can team up with Andrew to try and figure out what's the best approach here. But the advantage that the Disciples have is they're all playing variants of the Rokket list, so they've all had a lot of experience with it over the weekend, and right now they can all help each other in understanding the exact scenario in order to make sure that Tristan tries to take this victory, but Patrick is going to do everything he can to stop that.
So I'm looking at Tristan's list. He doesn't play Dark Ruler. The only going second card quotation he has is the Kaijus plus the Lightning Storms. But we know he can't activate Lightning Storm anymore because obviously he's got He's got cards on the field.
But he has managed to bait one negate with the Monster Reborn, and Patrick is debating whether or not he wants to negate the Boot Sector launch with the Savage. I think this is an interesting one. I don't know if I would negate Boot Sector launch here, but maybe I'm wrong.
Savage can't negate effects, I believe.
No, but I'm just wondering if you'd want to negate the activation.
Okay,
Because
so
it's not live yet.
No, he was attempting to negate that, I believe.
Yeah, here's the attack in.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Red MD, it's huge. It's a huge stat. But it looks like Tristan is passing turn on the one Darkness Metal.
So, does Tristan here just link away?
Oh, no, Tristan's past turn, he can't do anything.
Sorry, not Tristan.
Oh, Patrick.
Patrick, does he just link away and get the Water Dragon effect and then carry on?
Yeah, but he's managed to set up that Guardian first, which is nice. It'd be interesting to see if he's gonna. Yeah, he is gonna use the Unicorn effect. He's just thinking it on the target, and he needs to, of course, discard that card. There we go, and he's targeting the Red Eyes.
That is 50, 60, 52, 71.
Does he gain? Does Boral gain attack from the equip as well?
It gains 750, so it would be 670, 850, if my maths is right. Then again, as we've discussed, I'm terrible at maths.
Either way, it's very close right now, but with the 3 cards added off Block Dragon, I don't think Patrick is going to struggle to set up enough damage to take this, unless there's a really good hand trap from Tristan, which somehow beats Boral and Guardian. It seems unlikely.
I'm questioning why he didn't just summon the Researcher. Oh, he's got Guardian, yeah,
Yeah, he's fine.
This is fine. No, I mean, he drew the Guardian off. Sorry, he excavated the Guardian off
Make the Axis Code Talker, why not?
Why not?
Some extra damage here.
I mean, he didn't need it.
Not
As soon as he hit that Quokimera Guardian, he didn't need it.
And then the block. I think Patrick's really showboating here.
I mean, I don't know why he's flexing on it.
He has absolutely everything going for him right now.
He doesn't need to. He's flexing on him.
Is there anything stopping him from doing damage?
No.
No, there it is. Tristan takes the defeat. So we've seen 1-1 from the matches that have happened so far. Let's just quickly double check if the third one is still going on. And we'll be back shortly after that. Just a moment.
It is still going on.
Okay, let's jump into it live. I'm just going to change the images and then we'll be back in a moment. Okay, here we are back for the final match, the final game, I believe. And, okay, it looks like it's pretty much over. Unless... So I need to update the visuals for you guys. On the bottom, we have a new profile who dis, which I believe is Josh.
Yep.
From the 2 meter rule. And then on the top, we have Connor. So let me just update the names for you guys and the visuals. Oh, I was wrong. For some reason I was under the impression that Connor was also playing Dragon Link. My mistake. I think I said that earlier. In fact, it's just Gabe and Tristan who are playing Dragon Link. So they could help each other out. That makes this potentially a little bit more interesting because it means that now that both Gabe and Tristan are done, they're experts in Rokket following this weekend, but we know they've had an enormous amount of experience with Adam Emancipated previously, so maybe they can just flex that in order to help Connor if he needs any help. To be honest, right now it's looking like Josh needs a bit more help.
It's not looking promising for Josh, let's be honest. What's he got in his graveyard? He's got a Conquistador, a Golden Land Forever, a Cursed Eldland, and a Hequero. But he's facing down a Reptile, Analyzer, and an Access Cryptographer.
So the thing is, if Josh can break any part of Connor's board, he should be in a great position, right?
Hopefully.
I'm just checking Connor's graveyard. It doesn't look like he's used his IP yet, so if he has enough stuff left up, he should be fine, to be honest. He has used the Unicorn, though.
I think... Ooh.
Have you seen the chat?
I think Josh may have just lost this game because of that.
So
what's happened is he's actually forgot to use Hequero in Connor's end phase.
That puts him in a really bad position because it means he doesn't have access to another Eldlich, which
Yes,
potentially could have been enough.
That is... Oh, okay.
So what's he thinking about here? He's just set a card.
I mean...
But in his graveyard he does have a Golden Lord.
So, he has a Golden Lord. I don't think I see any negates.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Oh no, there is a wind monster in the graveyard for Reptile, so it can just banish the Golden Lord.
Oh. But he has to... Oh, is that a quick effect? During your opponent's turn, if a wind monster is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it. That is... Yeah, that's decent.
I don't know if you know this, but Metal Marcher is a wind.
Yeah, and people don't normally leave the Raptide up, so maybe it wasn't a case of a mistake or anything like that. It looks like Connor decisively put up Raptide just to act as a DD Crow during the opponent's turn.
Yeah.
Once per turn DD Crow is nice.
Once per turn DD Crow is very cool. It's really strong against, obviously, like the Dragon Link. It's also really strong against Eldlich. So.
But it looks like maybe he's used it already and we just missed that beforehand because he's not used it before Josh enters the end phase. Which means Josh is going to get an elixir set up. Oh, okay. The Raptite is going to banish the Golden Lord.
Is going to banish the Golden,
Golden Lord,
yeah.
So these two decks are 100% the staple decks of the last few months. And it's interesting to see that once again they battle it out to reach very high positions in the YOS, making it through to a final, and they're playing it off against each other to decide the ultimate winner of this event.
I think we're in a state where... Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be going right.
Connor's saying GG, but Josh isn't saying anything yet. For all we know, that set card is really good. No, okay.
No.
It looks like Josh is gonna have to take the L here as his Wakero gets hit and destroyed.
Yeah, you can't chain Hequero to...
Yeah, you can't chain to an access code talker. Even if you could, it would still be destroying the set card. I think the pressure is getting to Josh here a bit. So he accepts the game. Connor wins this one, and that means the Disciples win the YOS 3v3. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I think, yeah, we'll just have a quick look at it. What do you think about that? With Adamancipator winning, I mean, pretty decisively over the Eldlich Synchro list here.
No comment, officer, on the status of Block Dragon.
Block Dragon is a good card.
No comment, officer, on the status of Halki Fibrax. The cards are too good. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
It's just the fact that obviously I was really into the Adamancipator because obviously the artwork and sort of like the whole point of the deck is really cool, but just because they have so easy access to things like, you know, Block Dragon and you know, the sort of problem package of Halki Fibrax plus any other tuner.
Yep, and it proves its power once again with another premier event top. I think, I mean, it's used in combination with the Dragon Link decks that Tristan and Gabe brought to this, and I think that's nice. They had that little bit of flair to their team there to bring in something really solid and storm their way to first place. So thanks very much for watching, guys. We're going to be closing out the stream shortly. Before we do that, I do want to give a huge shout out and thanks to our sponsors for this event, Goat Cards, which you can check out in the description, who have a great selection of TCG cards, specifically YuGiOh. They've got a massive eBay store, so check them out, and they've got some great prices too. Also Card Market, which you guys obviously know already. It's the biggest European website for buying and selling and trading your cards. And then also Patriot Games, a fantastic UK-based store. They've got a brand new website up now, link also in the description, patriotgames.uk, where you can get all kinds of great information on some fantastic products, including some very nice custom printed mats that they can do at very, very reasonable prices. I think that's going to be everything from us for the YOS 3v3 stream today, and maybe we'll be bringing back the YOS events in the future, just depends on how things go, and we'll keep you guys updated. Thanks very much for watching. Any words from you, Aaron?
Just thank you to everyone who has attended the event. We know we had some issues. Hopefully you guys still enjoyed the event. Thank you to all the judges who dedicated their time to us this weekend. Thanks to all the sponsors, and then thank you to everybody who helped behind the scenes. Because what a lot of people don't realize is setting up an event like this and getting everything sorted is a lot of work. And obviously thank you to YuGiOh as well for having me here. And
No worries.
thank you to you.
Always good to have you.
Yeah, obviously thank you to everyone who helps behind the scenes. I think some of those guys don't get a lot of the credit they deserve, because setting up an event like this is difficult. And we plan these, a month and a half ahead every time, and we still are always down to the last minute of sorting out stuff.
Yeah,
so.
that's always something that comes up.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you to everyone who helped behind the scenes. These do take a lot of time and a lot of effort to do. So
Yeah, thanks so much, guys, for that. Cool. Okay, we'll close off the stream here with some adverts for our sponsors. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you all again for another YOS in the future.
bye.